take your money plus money off your policies for your beneficiaries.
Yes, thank you very much.
That is a scam.
Yes.
How are they even getting away with that?
Because if you read in your policy, your fine print that no one reads, they tell you that's exactly what they're going to do.
That's insane. That is just highway robbery.
Yes.
They're like, here, save your money so we can have it.
For those who have mortgages, and here's another one, for those who have mortgages or learning to want to get a mortgage at a bank, don't let them force you to say, oh, you need mortgage insurance, or else they're not giving you the mortgage, because that's nonsense. That's bullshit. So
they will approve you even without insurance?
Well, here it is. You need to have something to back yourself up. So you need a life insurance plan.
Right. And that
life insurance plan could be cheaper than what that mortgage insurance is.
Now, why is it that life insurance can be used for that? I'm just curious.
Because they want to make sure that basically their asset, which is the house, is covered.
And your life insurance would cover your home?
Yeah, so your life is covered in event of a peril that is the house.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right, because when my grandma passed, that happened with my grandfather. The house got paid.
Of course, because they had an insurance plan.
Oh.
Now, with people getting mortgages and so forth, the banks are telling you, they're saying, so you need to have this mortgage insurance. Just sign here, sign here, sign here, sign here. Then explain to you exactly what it is.
Right.
Because they don't care. They don't give a shit.
See, a lot of my clients, like I deal with property investments and stuff like that, and a lot of my clients.
It's great that I'm educating you on this, because now you can tell them.
Well, and the thing is I always recommend that they get mortgage insurance, because I thought that was the politically right thing to do, right?
No, it's not. It's the worst thing to do.
Okay, well that's good to know, because you know what? At least I can provide an alternative now.
Yeah,
and I'll send them to you.
The reason why it's the worst thing to do is, with mortgage insurance, who do you think is the beneficiary if something happens?
Would be your spouse or your kids?
Wrong. The bank.
Oh.
The bank is the beneficiary.
So then they can just take the house back, pretty much?
Yes.
Even if you have family living in it?
Yes, because they're the beneficiary.
Oh, Lord. That is getting into a whole can of worms you don't even want any part of, people.
I could go through, we can have a whole show just on this.
That's insane. Well, we're going to have a show based on that, because I'm sure that, people appreciate that kind of...
Definitely. Like, when it comes with 65% of Canadians are living paycheck to paycheck.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And in this 2017, and we just started, but statistics from 2016 is 65% of Canadians are living paycheck to paycheck.
Well, and the thing is, did you see that video where that lady called him out? Did you watch it? Where Justin Trudeau, when she, at that...
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Did you see his response?
Well, his answer was like, I know I have sympathy for you. I have empathy for you.
Well, and he tried to make an example out of her, in a sense, like, kudos to you for being able to pay it and still be sane. You know what I mean?
That's how it works.
And you know what I said, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I personally, he's been spoon-fed from the day he was born. His father was prime minister at one point. He's been very babied, and I, to be honest, don't think he really knows what paying bills is like, which is why he can't relate.
He got elected because of his name.
Well, and that's exactly it, and people really didn't realize that.
And his father being a great guy, and he's the only reason why he was voted in, because of his name.
Yeah. And I find even that, is not even a very dependable reason to vote for him, because I find there's a lot of very mixed reviews on that. Not everybody thought that his father was so great.
It's a split. There's half the country would say, Pierre Trudeau was one of the greatest prime ministers the country ever had, and there's other ones saying, the country was in dire straits when he was elected.
Well, I find in Justin Trudeau, if you do you think that he is kind of favored the West? Because that seems to be a big issue that I find everybody kind of speculating about, is that for whatever reason he's got favoritism for,
He has favoritism for everyone except for Ontario.
Yeah.
And the reason is why that is because he's French-Canadian.
Well, and he pretty much said to that lady straight out, we've left it in the hands of the Ontario government, and, if they treat you poorly, that's their fault. Right? And that's just terrible. He really took no accountability and no recognition that he had anything to do with the cost of hydro and carbon tax and all that.
He doesn't, because all that stuff, carbon tax stuff, is a provincial tax, not a federal tax.
Right.
So he is right. He's washing his hands, but he can step in and say, "Listen, that's enough. Too bad."
Well, and that's the thing. Ontario, people, to be honest, our poverty rates are quite high. We have a high rate of people who are lower class versus, there's not, except for Toronto, there's a lot of lower class everywhere else. And, people are struggling. And even people who are working and making, 60,000 plus a year are living like they're in poverty, right? Because their bills are so high.
Like I said before, people are living paycheck to paycheck.
And it's
There's
just
no more money that's, and how are they getting by? Credit cards.
Well,
and this starts a vicious cycle because nothing's ever getting paid. This is circle to circle. Oh, I'll pay this card with that card, and then I'll get by with this and that. I'll finance this, I'll finance that.
Well, and the biggest thing too is I've really noticed a lot of talk about suicide and everything, and it's a pretty down topic. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, guys, but it's got a lot to do with the cost of living. It's people are overwhelmed and they're stressed out, and they can't put their kids into the sports they want, or they can't go on a trip and relieve their stress after working so many hours all that year. But it's just
that's the case. With inflation and cost of living in this country, we're not making enough to cover.
And people can't even people who should be able to save, they can barely even do that, let alone go on a trip.
Did you know that 55% of Canadians do not have an RRSP?
No, it's true.
Yeah.
And you know what? I to be honest, a good majority of people really don't even think about saving because it's just not even in their budget, right?
They can't. They want to save. They want to save for their kids' education. They want to have a nest egg. But they can't. There's no way to save.
Yeah, and it's hard to leave anything for your kids when, you can hardly provide for the day-to-day stuff, right?
Like you mentioned about kids' sports. Yeah, like hockey is our national sport, but it's on the decline because we can't afford it.
Well, it's expensive, rep league sports like that. Like my son, he wants to play in rep football team this year, and it's like $400 or $500 for the season, right? Which, not everybody's got that kind of money.
No, but that's football. Soccer is about the same now.
Hockey's way more expensive.
Hockey, and don't even talk about rep. If you're just talking about just a house league, you're looking at $1,000 per season.
Yeah.
For a player, for the goalie, you're looking at $2,000.
Well, and that doesn't include traveling costs if they're
No,
once.
And if you start becoming rep, and then select and elite teams, then you're looking at $5,000 to $10,000 a year.
Oh, absolutely, hands down. It's like my fiance's cousin is in dirt bike racing. He's sponsored and everything, and thousands of dollars go into the campaigns that he does for sponsorship and to fund his sport, right? And
yeah, but if you have a sponsor, that's great.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Even these sports teams, these kids' hockey teams, they get a sponsor, but it's still not covering. Like parents can't afford it. Yeah,
and it's not even the parents' fault because they try, and you know what? It's they still just barely getting by, which is terrible.
I know Canadian Tire started a campaign called Jumpstart.
Yep.
Kids get into, but it's still $300.
Yep.
So someone in having a hard time, but they want their kid to get into the sport. It's still $300.
Well, and for people with multiple kids, right? If all your kids want to play in different sports,
yeah, you're done.
Yeah.
You have a part-time job just to pay for extracurricular activities.
Oh, it's so true. My kids this year, my oldest son wants football. My daughter, believe it or not, wants hockey. And my youngest son wants to play in soccer, which is a little less expensive, thankfully. But, the two older ones are looking to play and, they want to really get into the sport life and start doing it, which I totally encourage. But it's an arm and a leg, hands down. Yeah. Okay, so on to a bit of a happier topic. Unfortunately, Justin Trudeau, step up to the plate, say something to the Ontario government. And Ontario government, curb your crap, because I'm sick of it. To be honest, I'm on equal billing, thank God, but I literally feel for people out there with this crap.
There's one thing that the Europeans and even the Middle East do very well when it comes to this kind of stuff. If they're not happy with the government, they get tossed.
Yeah.
Here, we're so nonchalant, relaxed that, okay, well, I guess we got another 2 years. We're going to have to suck it up.
Well, what was that country, actually? It's funny that you mentioned that. There was, what was it? I think it was Iceland. They are all, it's the people make the decisions. There's nobody who runs it or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're, their minimum wage is $35 an hour. They've...
Iceland has the best, way of life.
It's very open, people make their own decisions, and if people aren't happy, they all work together and come to a conclusion, I think that's fair.
Yeah, like that's what government's supposed to do. Is like we elect someone to represent the people to help us make our decisions.
Yeah, but unfortunately, they take advantage of their jobs.
What happens is they're all liars, because as soon as they get in, there, they know that they can't do something. So all their political promises are out the window.
Well, and that's
they don't
the thing.
realize that what the job actually entails, and that regardless of who's running, there's always someone being your boss.
Yeah.
So they're always going to say, okay, no, too bad, here you go.
Well, and you know what? Like, I always say, if you're going to be a leader, be a good one, right?
Exactly. If not, pack up your bag, pack up your net, and go home.
Speaking of good leaders, here's another one, but this one's a little bit more entertaining. So there's been a bit of a buzz going around on Twitter. Actually, it made headlines. It was trending on Twitter, which is, I believe, absolutely unbelievable. We spoke a little bit about this on Wednesday when I was on the air with Mike Allen show. Always a blast on there, boys. If you're listening tonight, shout out to you guys. Had a lot of fun this week. But
they better be listening.
Oh, Mike's funny. He's always listening in. To be honest, I think that his whole crew there is pretty entertaining. You should tune in with us one night. It'd be fun. But we touched on a topic that absolutely blew my mind. There was something trending on Twitter, and believe it or not, it was #TrumpLeaks. He somehow created the possibility for international hashtagging of golden showers. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that term, but it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It is the act of urinating on another human being, which I find is absolutely disturbing, and I don't know how anybody could enjoy that. Nonetheless,
kind of skin, maybe you can put two and two together.
Yeah, it's just a little bit past my idea of hot.
No, it's just disturbing.
Yeah, no, like anybody,
it's just as disturbing as Lemon Party.
Well, like, what the hell's that? Do I even want to know?
Get your Urban Dictionaries and Google Lemon Party.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to do that. Okay, guys, that might not be a PG-rated topic, but you can search that on your own.
No,
oh my gosh,
disturbing.
That's hilarious. So, nonetheless, there was some accusations made against America's brand new lovely president, and he was out in Russia supposedly. He went there and rented the presidential suite at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Moscow. Top of the line stuff there. This is where Obama and his wife stayed and slept, and people are quite disturbed by this the most, is because he did this in the presidential suite where most presidents are known for going. And he decided that he was going to, I guess, people had speculated that he had ordered Russian prostitutes to his bedroom and had paid them to perform in the act of a golden shower on each other. I don't know if he was golden showered on.
I think so.
And to be honest,
orange, so I don't know.
It was so goddamn funny because, the Ice Bucket Challenge?
Yes.
People were redoing their photos, and I guess they found Trump had participated in this challenge, and they had taken the pictures and photoshopped it so that the water going onto his head was yellow.
Oh, that's so disturbing.
And it kind of made it viral, and people find it quite entertaining, as do I. I mean, come on. You're new into being a president. Did you not think that somebody somewhere was going to say something about your prostitutes? Or that these prostitutes might not say something themselves?
He said himself, he goes, I'm high profile. He goes, don't you think that there's going to be cameras everywhere? Why would I do that?
Well, and that's the thing, is he thinks that because, Donald Trump's been Donald Trump for how long? President or not, he's always been the person he's been, and people, for whatever reason, either
just
hate him or love him.
Who they are.
There's no happy medium with him. You either hate him or love him, and, to be honest, I just think that his presidential whole life here is going to be very short-lived. I don't think he'll be reelected.
Definitely not.
He's made it in somehow by the grace of God, and hopefully he doesn't persuade any more crazies to come out of the woodworks here, because I was really disappointed with hearing some of the acts that were going on in the States during the elections.
You know what I find very funny and kind of strange? How The Simpsons has predicted a lot of what's gone on.
It's so true.
Over the years.
It's so true.
I think it was in 2002 when they had an episode of Donald Trump being the president.
I actually didn't catch that. I'm going to have to look into that.
Yeah, there's an episode from many years ago from The Simpsons.
So you must be one of those people that's like me, that's really into the whole